This project developed a couple of years ago when I was first time visiting Southern California for another project. And then I stumbled into the area of the Salton Sea. And I was overwhelmed by all the mess and the actually devastation there. And then I thought, like, where does this come from? And then I realized it's connected to the agriculture in the north and the south part of the sea, as they're dumping since centuries all the fertilizers and all the pesticides into the lake. And this creates this certain cause. It was not very easy to get connection to the people on the fields, to all the workers, regarding their legal status of immigration. So we had to be very careful, and it was like very much on a personal level, if people allowed us to film or not. But they always said, like, we have to be careful to not showing any faces, to not bring anyone in danger. So I was before studying geography and environmental science for a couple of semesters, and definitely there came a foundation of the interest. But then I switched to visual arts and started doing experimental film, and then slowly I tapped back into this research area, which is now following, or I'm following it since a couple of years. So this is now the fifth work what I'm doing there in Southern California, and we're trying now to wrap it up together with Vanja Smiljanic in a long feature film where we try to get all the issues from different communities together in one film. For me, it's always very important during the production, actually, or before, to do a basic research, but then it's also very much about time to spend on a site and really getting familiar with it. So for this project, for Valley Pride, we spent around 2 months on and off in Imperial Valley and doing some filming and recording and talking with people, like building some relationships. And I also did in 2018 already one film called Imperial Valley Cultivated Runoff, which depict the same agriculture or the same monocultures, in a way depicting the scale, but it was filmed only with a drone, with a bird eye view. And now actually I landed and had also contact with the workers and having a different perspective of the same issue. The production and the observation for me is also very important, in a way to get a feeling of time, and this is why we are also doing contemplative observations, so taking several shots in a way to depict in. For me, it's always important, or if you can show a process in one shot, and this was the idea, like in some of the harvesting machines, like to really give it time and to be there and observe in a way in the image, like what is happening, because we're having like so many different layers, and it was also very important always to get this contrast between fertile, like green, and then the backdrop very dry, because like a big issue of the whole area is there isn't any water, so every water has to be shipped in there, or it comes like over the American Channel, meaning there is also an issue, is growing food a crime? And basically, like, everybody would say no, it's not, but then it's also in which scale do you produce, which labor do you use? So lots of the labor there is exploited, as I mentioned already before. They don't have the papers yet, meaning some companies like pay them a penny instead of $1 and having no rights. And so for us, it's also in a way the first step, in a way to try to give a voice to these workers. And we are also elaborating on that in our feature film, which is coming, to really having interviews and the voices actually of people working there, which was not possible for this film. This is a very good question, or difficult question, which impact the film should have and whom it should reach. Of course, it should reach anyone if possible, because it is an issue which concerns us all. So we are always going in supermarkets and taking the orange, want to take the orange first from the pyramid of the food corner, but this is exactly the issue. This is like our wasting food culture in a way which we have to overthink, because we're producing much more, especially in the West, much more than we use, but it's only, so it's, I don't know. I'm also trapped, of course, in this artistic and film festival bubble, but I don't know any way like how to go out there in a way like to just make it public, having it on YouTube, having it online in a way to reach more people. But it just should, at least the few people who manage to see it, to give a little idea of there is definitely something also behind the scene what is not right. We know, like, anyway, the world kind of falling apart, and also this kind of monoculture growth plays a big part of it. The idea why I was planning to do a feature film after this short film came now at the end of the process, like the process of the last 5 or 6 years, where I developed 5 short films in this area. And it was actually because there was so much research like came together. Like, there is the history of Native Americans there's the history of the military, there's the history of the agriculture growth, there's a big problematic of the health status of the communities there, and there was a pre-nuclear bomb testing also, all in the same area. So I was interested in bringing all this research together in one film, and I'm not talking here in a short, here in a short, here in a short, to trying to just grasp the scale of this region. The research process developed basically over the last 6 years, and it was, as the beginning, I didn't know anything. Like, I just arrived at the lake and thought you can have a swim, and then we went out of the car, and the first thing what was written there was "fuck my life," and then it was a little bit, was in a ghost town or abandoned town called Bombay Beach, and then we were thinking, what is that here? Where does it come from? All this. It was overwhelming. In the first 2 years, I could not even respond to that till I then figured out and learned about agriculture. And then I also saw that there's a platform in the sea, like a wooden platform, 10 by 10 meters, 7 meters above the level of the water. And then I was thinking and asking around, what is that? And then I learned this is for pre-nuclear dummy testing for the atomic bomb. So in 1994, 1945, they trained there the ballistics and the fuse tests for the atomic bomb, which after was used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And now it is recommendation? No, it's damn it, it's BLM land, but it's like where you can an area where you actually go for making holidays and recreation area. So and now it's a recreation area, which is absurd because like you still find parts of these bombs lying there, and it's also like kind of polluted when you have like winds picking up these dusts like with the heavy metals. And so then we also got in touch with the Torres Martinez Desert Coia Indians, which were also giving us a different perspective on the land. And then so it grew all together, and it's still a process of learning in a way each time when I'm spending time there, in a way how complex this system or this the ecosystem and also the communities are there working together. And still, even it looks very devastating, it gives you, talking with some people who are trying to do something, like a hope that there will be something in a way to stop the lake from receding and exposing all these heavy metals into the air, which could go into a big dust bowl. I think like this is a very good covering for the process where now we could like talk much longer, but then it becomes also there are so many layers, then it would also like already like going too far away from the film what is shown right now. So I'm very happy like to share this kind of information, and thank you very much for this question.